right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, welcome on in, everybody. NorCal Sports Network. Warriors take it on the chin tonight. Kind of expected, but you still hope they have a shot, but not the start the way Minnesota came out and the Warriors came out. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. We'll break it all down. But first, let's thank our sponsor of the show, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs. You got a personal injury situation, make sure you give them a call before you settle with an insurance company, because if you don't, you're leaving thousands, maybe tens and 20s and 30s, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. You settle with those insurance companies without contacting the Chapman Law Group, not a good situation for you. So give them a call. All right, guys, we break this thing down. Warriors really look like they might make a run late, mid-third. They got to within 7, and they were within 7 points. They got the rebound. They kicked it out to Butler, and he double dribbled or traveled or whatever. He jumped in the air. It was like the one time Jimmy was hurrying. He's always under control. And then the T-Wolves hit a 3, put it up to 10, and it never got closer. So give me your take on this game, fellas.
Go ahead, Los. I'll take it after.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think anybody's surprised that the Warriors were going to lose this game and Minnesota was going to come out and make adjustments. I think Minnesota saw how Houston got away with playing physical defense, and they didn't quite adjust game 1 because that's just not in their nature to do, and they didn't have to do it against LA. But they figured, hey, if the NBA is going to allow people to grab and push and be physical, then we're going to do it. So it was a little bit more physical game. Of course, Curry is out. But, I mean, just the way the Warriors lost and just the fundamental breakdowns of plays, it's very, very frustrating. I know the Warriors watch, especially in the playoffs, they go back and watch the film. I don't know if Kerr or anybody in management actually holds people accountable for when you're at the rim and you have a layup and you kick it out. They should play stop or pause on the film and start screaming at that player. The Warriors do that more than any team I can remember ever. Right. Pods had one tonight. I swear, I don't think I've ever seen this. He goes to the basket.
They're too small. They're afraid to hit. They're afraid to throw it up over the big guy, and they're constantly kicking it out when they got less than a 5-foot shot.
Yeah,
and Pods can't hit the little 5-footers. I don't know what it is.
Pods did have one though where he drove, he pump fake, and the guy went out of the play. He went under the basket. He was all alone. I mean, he was all alone, and he kicked it out, and the guy picked it off. Teams are going to play the Warriors for the pass because they're so scared, except for 2 guys who we've been kind of clamoring for because they finished at the rim. The only silver lining is TJD and Kuminga playing well. I don't know if that can carry over because it's kind of a game-to-game thing. I don't know what the hell's gotten into Moses Moody. He looks absolutely like the worst player on the floor. He's not just missing shot, guys. He's breaking.
He was wonderful when he started, but he's not a guy that does well coming off the bench.
So that mentally tells me he's just not a guy that can come off the bench. But I mean, playoffs are a game-by-game adjustments. I think they'll play better. I think they have a good chance, even without Curry, of getting one of these 2 at home. Just today was just they weren't prepared for Minnesota's physicality. It reminded them a lot of how Houston played.
Yeah. Lou, what's your take?
I thought tonight, 4 big things sort of came out. One is you got to be ready for the start of the game. Okay. You can't keep shooting threes when you're down 8-0, 11-0, 13. Take the ball inside. My God. The other thing too is I admit, TJD were good and Kuminga were good today. They got in a little flow, but I know why they haven't been playing. Their defense was atrocious. It was so bad. Minnesota in the first, I'd say 3 quarters, had so many wide open threes. It was unbelievable. And all it took was one extra pass. And the thing is, it's weird. I've never seen Butler have his head down on defense, but nobody was playing defense. So Butler just had his head down and says, okay, I can't do it all by myself. Last but not least, when you're on the road, you cannot keep doing turnover after turnover after turnover and not getting back on D. I mean, I think they had, 17 or 18 turnovers? And at one point, they had 13 turnovers, which led to, I think, 18 points the other way. Just hold on to the ball and play basic basketball. We were up the hill when we got to 7. It just, before you knew it was back to 20. And, it just gets frustrating because the defense was just I've never seen in the playoffs teams with no one within 20 feet, it seemed like. And that's what frustrated me more than anything else about the loss. Hey, it's only one game, but you got to play defense, please.
Yeah. There was one play. I can't remember. It was the first quarter. I think it was the first quarter. Yeah. And it showed to me why Kuminga hasn't been playing. And it was the Warriors had just got a defensive rebound, kind of. Kuminga had his hands on it, and he just didn't grab it. He grabbed it nonchalantly. DiVincenzo pokes it away from behind, and they hit a 3. And I was like, dude, this is playoff basketball. You can't afford to just take your sweet little time thinking, and that's why you're not playing, because you don't play at 120%. My goodness. It was just a pathetic effort, and he got pulled pretty quickly, but they needed him because they didn't have – look, Kuminga is a guy that thinks he's going to be some type of Kobe Bryant on offense, okay? He thinks the game is all about offense and that he can beat someone to the hoop, he can pull up, he could shoot. The guy never learned any basketball where he came from what? The Congos, right?
The Congo.
It's probably always the best no matter what.
The Congos are instruments.
Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, Congo, whatever it is. He comes from there. He skips college, right? He skips college. Bill, with all due respect, how do I know? No, what I'm saying is true. He didn't learn fundamental basketball. He goes and plays for the G League Ignite, which they don't coach there. And then he comes into the NBA. The reason he hasn't got the playing time is because the veterans don't like playing with guys that are out of control. I mean, he's an offensive talent. He's good when it's kind of a flowing game and he can just do, Warriors needed him tonight because they were so far behind. They just needed him to go out and score. But in a close game, Kuminga doesn't always do those things. So I don't know. Look, he looked good tonight. It was one good game on offense. But when Curry's out there and is healthy and green and Butler's healthy, Butler's not playing at a full 100% yet. Those guys, they don't like guys that are not know where they're supposed to be in their assignments. That's just how basketball works. So I think the Warriors, I see comments out there that they need to split. That's a minimum, obviously. If they don't split, the series is over. But they really need to take 2. And here's why I say they need to take 2. You can't afford to be at 2-2 and assume that you're going to win game 6 with Curry. You can't just assume, oh, we're going to win game 6 or game 5, I should say. Curry's probably not playing game 5. I'd say there's 80% chance he doesn't play game 5. And so if they go 2-2, if they split this, Minnesota goes up 3-2, coming back to game 6, and that's when you probably get Curry back. And who knows? And then you got game 7 at Minnesota. I know that people think, well, the Warriors can do it and pull it out, and they can. They're a better team than Minnesota with Curry at full strength. But I want to see him pull out all stops and kind of be like that We Believe team at home and get the crowd behind them and try to win these 2 games so that if it does go 6 to the 6th game, you're up 3-2, not down 3-2. That's my take. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Lou.
I think you bring up a great point, Dan. The one thing I don't want the Warriors to do is I got a little confused with the starting lineup tonight. What I don't want them to do, because they showed up tonight, is to start Kuminga and TJD, because you have 2 problems that you're not thinking of. They're not going to play defense, and it's not like they only have Ant-Man on Minnesota. One of the problems the Warriors discovered tonight is, they worry about Gobert, but they have nobody that can stop Randall. So, you let Ant-Man come alive. Randall, nobody can guard him. I mean, my God, he will destroy TJD if they start TJD. And, it's all about matchups, and the one thing I thought that Minnesota really did tonight is they made Butler work as hard as he could for his shot, and they let everybody else try to beat him. And as we know, Buddy Hield got off to a horrible start. I think he was 1 for 7, and we knew that was going to happen. And then nobody really picked up the slack, and before you knew it, they were down 15, 18. And when they made that run to 7, I think you bring up a great point. They worked so hard to go from 22 to 7, and you got a chance to get it to 5. You have to get it to 5. If not, now it's 9, and before you knew it's 12. And before you blinked an eye, it was back to 17. So,
they hit a 3. They hit a 3 after Jimmy dribbled or whatever they traveled, whatever that was. They hit a 3 and it was 10, and then it just kept growing from there.
Yeah. And that's all I mean is, you got to play, again, it's just all about defense. The Warriors got beat every single quarter tonight, which is something, that normally doesn't happen. So I don't know. I was just, more disappointed the way it started. And, it's frustrating. It was hard to watch because you never really thought they were going to come back. So,
yeah, I'll tell you what I'm disappointed with. And I don't know if you saw the same thing, Los. The Warriors had 13, 14 guys that actually came into the game. The fact that they weren't ready, these younger guys weren't ready to out hustle them. They're definitely less talented. Pat Spencer, I'm sorry, he looked pathetic tonight. He looked overmanned, like he didn't even belong in the NBA to me, the way they were attacking. And you got to come ready to play. You got to come ready to. Here's your chance to shine. If you're gonna play like your pants are on fire on defense. I mean, they had so many wide open threes, Minnesota. It was just pathetic. I mean,
you could have made them, Dan. They were so wide open.
Well, I don't
maybe,
know.
Maybe. on a good day, Danny can hit 45%.
Yeah. I just couldn't get over the fact that Minnesota just out hustled them. It's like the Warriors thought, oh, we got our first game. You got to win this series every stinking game. I don't think Steph's coming back until game 6. Okay. I think if he comes back in game 5, it's because they're down 3-1. I don't see him come and I think that would be a mistake. maybe he's okay to play game 5, but hammies, that's a week. That's 1 week. Hammies generally take a really good 10 days. I mean, they put baseball players on the IL for these things. You can't move, and you really can't do anything for 1 week to allow it to heal. He can't even shoot set shots. Yeah. So
and his game is predicated on moving all the time.
Right.
And with a bad hammy, that's going to really inhibit him from playing his game. But guys, basketball is the ultimate team game, the ultimate chemistry game. 5 guys have got to be linked on the floor. The problem with the Warriors is they have too many inconsistent guys. Like, you just know game to game, you don't know who's going to play well and who's not. Like the next game, they're going to probably maybe play Kuminga and TJD. Why? Because they played well tonight. Hoping that it carries over to game 3. It probably won't. Moody and Pods have regressed big time. I don't know why, because they're young veterans and they've had a lot of run and a lot of experience at starting games for most of this season. So, Moody not so much, but I don't understand why they've regressed. But what's really frustrating when you don't have Curry in the game, it's kind of like not having CMC in the game. They're the cogs of the offense, and when you take them out, it breaks down. The Warriors don't have guys that can beat you off the dribble. They just don't. You watch them try to dribble, and the guy's right there with them, right there. They don't shake anybody. Even Jimmy, none of them can shake anybody to the basket with quickness or handles, except for Curry. So that their Curry not being in there just completely messes up their offense. They have to change up their offense completely without him in the game, and that's going to be really difficult.
They don't have a backup point guard.
No, they don't.
They really don't.
And that was a flawed aspect of putting the roster together. They have too many wings, and quite frankly, a lot of their wings are really not doing a whole lot. They needed a point guard. They probably needed another big guy. So we'll see. They're going to have to fight and scratch and claw for sure these next 2 games just to squeak one out.
You liked it. I don't have a great jump shot from 3-point, but the layup, look at that. There it is. Almost. That was my sophomore year. Look at off the floor, baby. You think, how I can get off the floor like that right now? I can take a couple of steps up the ladder. That's about it. I can't jump.
That looked like a nice 28-inch vertical there.
That was. I had some
Very
hops.
nice.
That was my sophomore year.
Yeah, that was back in the 60s.
What's so
the 60s. 70. That was 1977. Oh man, I'm dating myself.
At one point when Kuminga was getting a lot of playing time, and in fact starting, he was actually a good defender, right? We all know that he has it in him to do it. We've seen it. But once he got benched and once he got sent to exile, he's sitting there, he's probably pouting, and now that he comes in and he gets his flashes, he's just going to focus on offense. He thinks that that's the only way that's going to get him minutes. And quite
he's
frankly,
thinking of the offseason too.
Yeah. I think so. I mentioned this months ago that they were going to lose him mentally, and they may have. He's going to put up points, but he's not going to do, like Danny said, the winning things that you need to do to win playoff type of games. He's thinking this is an exhibition game, like the way he holds the ball. Like, guys just come in and barely tap him and he loses the ball. It drives me nuts. Hold the damn ball. Throw elbows if you have to. Get people off of you.
Agreed.
This is the playoffs. He acts like this is a preseason game in October. And somebody's got to get in him. I'm surprised Draymond hasn't already. Maybe he has behind closed doors. But, yeah, really disappointing to see him, Moody, and Pods, when we need him the most, regress. You're muted.
Very well said.
I was putting something on. What'd you think of the Draymond tee tonight?
That's what he does when he snaps and feels he was, his reputation obviously is always going to get him in trouble. But when guys are in your space and they're right up on you, any little thing you do, you're going to make contact. And if it happens to be up by the face, of course they're going to sell it. I'm not saying he's not guilty, but when you have the ball, like, you have to be given somewhat a little bit of space. That's why, when big men back in the day would clear a rebound and guys got too close to them, little guys, they start throwing those elbows. And if they caught you, it might be a foul, but you're not going to get close to them ever again. Maurice Lucas did that. Charles Oakley did that. Larry Smith did that. So, that was a tough technical, because he has a bad habit of following through, like he did with the Phoenix Sun guy, and he followed through and he just slammed him in the face. So if a guy's face is there, he's going to hit him, and it's going to look really bad, especially in slow motion. So,
hey, I'm going to hop out of here. Deloading, I just put the link in if you want to jump in. And then if producer Ryan is out there in the chat, are you out there, Ryan? I'll have to have him run the board. Yeah, I'd love to get Deloading's thoughts on this as far as what he saw. I mean, they play different at home, but there's a reason Minnesota's, what was it, +2 something?
To win
minus 2 something.
Yeah, it went from -180, even though they were down 1-0, to -220. I think the NBA knows that Curry might not even come back, because if you remember, he's going to be looked at in a week. They didn't say he was going to be playing in a week, because all the money.
Like I say, I don't think he's playing Game 5. That's a week from Wednesday, or that's six days from now.
Yeah,
there's a game Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday. And you know what? They don't get a break. They don't have 3 days off until they play Game 6 in San Francisco. And maybe all the Valkyrie will save us. It's because they're not playing early, because the Valkyries are scheduled for a game. That's why it's pushed. So we'll see. Maybe it's just the NBA scheduling with TV too. I don't know. But Deloading, give us your thoughts on tonight's game.
I mean, that was just disappointing to watch, just in general. I thought I was most disappointed with Draymond and Podziemski. I think Podziemski just looked completely out of it. Not even like offensively, which he's been bad at the last 2 weeks, but on defense, he was really bad. Just helping off of guys in the corner for no reason, losing his man on switches. It was just really rough to see. They're going to need more from Draymond if they want any shot at winning one of the next two. It was always going to be that they had to win one out of the next three. If they even want any hope of doing that, Draymond has to be better than he was tonight.
Yeah. What do you think?
Isn't that Draymond's reputation, though, when Curry leaves a game or leaves for a week, he checks out. Out.
Yeah, no, the technical is at what point are you going to stop flailing your arms around and then like acting like they're not going to give you a tech or a flagrant? Like,
learn from your stupid mistakes. I mean, you got to know they're watching. I mean, Tony Brothers immediately saw it and he didn't like go huddle with the other refs. He's just like, I'm going to review right now. I saw him and double check what I saw. It's amazing how Draymond's either foot or hand finds, either a guy's nuts or a guy's head every time.
All the time. Yeah.
Every time. How does he flail and perfectly hit a guy's head on a follow through that it's not a follow through that comes down. It's if his head's over here, it comes down over to the side. Like the one tonight is like, oh, I just happened to flail and get a shot in at his face.
Draymond will make a great wrestler once he retires, because they have that move where they just go up right into the guy's nuts and get the pin.
It's like,
he is known for that, though. That's a good observation.
Yeah, it's
the head and the gonads.
Yeah, I mean, he hits one head or the other, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm calling producer Ryan, but he's not. He's checked out. My producer, I think he's probably he's probably drinking himself into his sleep. He's text out.
No problem.
He's
It
text
happens.
out. He can.
I think we all thought when Edwards went out, and it looked pretty bad. That,
Yeah.
we're like,
Yeah.
it's evened out. Like, we got a chance. And then they started making a run, and that crowd was getting very quiet.
They were quiet.
But then a couple of stupid missed offensive rebounds, kick out 3, and then another 3, and boom, from 7 to 15,
Yeah.
just like that.
Well, I'll let you guys continue on here, unless I don't know, we can end it here or whatever. Unless you guys got
Really
some more
not
thoughts.
much to say.
Yeah, not much to say. It was not much
It's
of a
up to
game.
watch.
We'll see how they do Saturday night. I mean, they're going to have to. They really. I think Saturday night is, if you can get that game, then and somehow
Then you got the house money again.
Yeah, then you can steal the. I really think they need to try to. I mean, win 2. If you got to assume they're losing game 5. I just
before you
feel
go over to Larry, Danny, and then I'll ask Lou and deloading. What is your ideal starting lineup for the next game? What do you think it should be?
Can I go? Or
Yeah,
Go ahead.
go
You
first?
first.
Yeah.
I think you go small and you put Kuminga in for Post. I don't know why Post was starting. He's not ready for this. He shouldn't play. But
Post.
I think
It's not his series at all.
no, it's not. I think you go Kuminga in for Post. Not saying Kuminga's going to be playing center, but you need Kuminga's minutes. And if you don't go that way, you put TJD in. It's one of those two.
Yeah.
That has to go in the starting
I said
lineup.
the other night I thought TJD was going to get minutes in this series over Post. Post is just this is not his series at all.
It's kind of weird that it isn't, because Gobert is not a guy that chases you out to the 3-point line, and you would think he would have some room to be able to shoot,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is what he can do. So it's
Mhm.
kind of weird that it's not his series. Maybe he will show up game 3 or 4. Who knows?
They might try that
Like
strategy just to pull Gobert away from the bucket. I don't know.
How about try Post and TJD together to start the game?
Well,
Big
the
front
only
line.
issue is that they would just have Gobert roam off of Draymond. So
Oh.
that makes sense, but they just want Gobert shading off of Draymond because he can kind of play just like middle linebacker off that and just kind of stay in the paint.
They
That's a
need
good
they
point,
need man, their 3-point shooting without if Buddy's not on and Curry's not in there, they're horrendous offensively.
Boy, Pods is just and Moody is just brick city from. I mean,
The-
I have no confidence it's going in with those two.
The
guys.
Moody shots aren't even close. It's like you just
No.
asked him. He hasn't picked up a basketball in 6 months, and you're like, go out there and just fire up some shots. They're
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
He's a good athlete, and he's got good wingspan. I don't know why he can't get to the basket and finish better than he does.
That
He's
the like 5-foot floater that just completely airballed was.
that
I
was
don't know if
that
I've
was-
seen something
and-
worse than that.
And deloading, that's one thing that drives me crazy. How many times have you seen the Warriors break out, and even Butler one-on-one, and it's not Gobert back there. It's not
Mhm.
Gobert. It's just a guy smaller or the same size as them, and they will not go at them to the rim. At least maybe get a foul. They are also hesitant to go take it to the rim.
I don't
all of them,
I don't
all
know
of them.
what I don't know what that is. The only way I can explain it is just overthinking, but it's just ridiculous. Just
'Cause
go up.
Jimmy Butler at Miami, if he drove, he was finishing. He comes here to Golden State and he's driving and he's just looking to kick out every time. Steph's not playing anymore, Jimmy. You got to be a scorer right now.
I don't think he's healthy enough to do what he wants to do.
I think I was just going to get there. I think you're right. I think he's probably paying about 70 or 80%.
Yeah, and
he's facilitating only.
And I've watched Jimmy for a while. Like, I've watched him a good amount for like 3-4 years, and a lot of that passiveness just comes with conserving energy. And like, you usually just see it in the regular season because he's just waiting for the playoffs. The issue now is that I don't think he's healthy, and he's trying to conserve himself if the game is close in the fourth quarter to kind of just like let all of that go. But when you're down 20, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You can't start like on the road going down 13-0. It's just
I know, it's unbelievable. It happens all the time to the Warriors. All the time. Especially in the you see it when they're up a game. It's like the second game they come out with no intensity. I don't understand it. But shoot. I think Kerr will have him ready for. He usually does a really good job in the playoffs with games 3 and 4 at home, and he has in the past. So we'll see. The recipe is win these 2 at home, and as you did against Houston, you went up 3-1 against Houston. That's what they need to do here. They've done it for almost, I think, every playoff series that the Warriors have had with Kerr as coach. They've won a road game.
Yep. To set a record, I think 21 straight series.
Yeah. So, and then they find a way to do well at home. So, anyway, guys, great show tonight. Quick one, but
Dan, do you mind me saying something real quick?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, because George said I'm a jackass and I've never touched a basketball in my life. So I played basketball throughout high school. During that time, I also played D1 AAU. So if you are in the Bay Area and you want to run one-on-one whenever, I am down. So let me know, and we can run it whenever you want to.
I love it.
There we go. All right.
Call them out. That's how you do it, man.
There you go, man. All right, man. D1 AAU, that's pretty good. Yeah. There's some good players to play, there. You probably could have played Division II ball or NAIA, huh?
I don't know. Well, that's what I played through high school. I stopped in college when I went to community college and then I transferred. But that's what I played in high school. I still play like for fun, intramural, all that gym leagues and stuff. But if you ever want to run one-on-one, because you said I never touched the basketball, let me know.
There we go. All right, love it.
There's a lot of public gyms to play too.
Tomorrow night, Giants take on the Twins. I've got something going tomorrow night around 6:30 to 9. So not sure if I think the Giants start around 5-ish or so. So maybe no post game tomorrow. We'll catch up on Saturday. And so Giants 24-14 now, 10 over 500.
Minnesota has won 6 in a row, so it won't be easy.
Oh, there we go. Okay, 6 in a row. Didn't know that. Good to know. Yeah, it's going to be not an easy series. So, All right, guys, thanks for being here. We really do appreciate it. And make sure you hit that like button on the way up. If you haven't subscribed, we're only about 50 away from 5,000. So we really do appreciate it. Thanks, Los, for stepping in tonight. And Lou, as always, deloading. Always good to have you and your contributions to the show. And hopefully the Warriors can get this done. They need to win a minimum of 1 or the season's over. We can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't win 1 in San Francisco. I think they get at least 1. And I'm obviously big time hoping for 2 because I think they really need it. So, guys, have yourself a great evening. If you want to furthermore talk on Warriors post game, I'll be on over there at Larry Kruger's show and Cyrus's channel. I think Damon's carrying it. They're all over there.
Tell Cyrus to chill out, Dan.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll tell him Kuminga sucks right when I get in there.
There you go.
See how that goes. Should I? I'm gonna bring up that one play though. I am gonna bring up.
Tell him to play defense and hit your free throws, you bum. 1 for 4 from the free throw line and -10 for the game.
Oh, he's gonna push back. You're an idiot, man. He scored 18 or 20 points.
Yeah.
You can only see one side of the game.
Yeah, go head on over there, guys, for some good entertainment. Thanks for watching. See you on the next show. Take care.
Perfect.